Everyone, welcome back to Time Out. This is Dee. I hope you're all having a good week, and happy Easter in advance. By the way, I do wish you all a wonderful Easter in advance. Okay, so today we're talking about a very interesting topic. It's called gaslighting. I mean, it's something that a lot of people know about, but it's officially called gaslighting. So all right, so let me get to it in Queen's English. What is gaslighting? Like I said, in Queen's English, it's one of those conversations you have with somebody that makes you kind of like start to question your reality. In basic English, it's when someone lies so much. You start to question what you actually saw or what you heard or something, when someone is such an expert at lying and they lie away everything. So I think that the best way, and yeah, it does sound really funny, but this is a tactics used by emotional abusers. So really and truly, I mean, like I said, it does sound funny, but over time it actually really does affect the victim. For instance, the best way to understand what gaslighting is there was a movie, it was like an old movie. I can't remember what year now, and it was about this lady. That was where the term gaslighting originated from, right? So it was about this lady that had an aunt, and her aunt was quite wealthy, and she passed away. So she moved to Italy or something to school, and she met like this charming man, and they got married, and they went back to England where she was coming from, because that was where she lived with her aunt. So she inherited the aunt's house, and she moved into the house with her husband. So as they moved into the house, all of a sudden different things started to happen. Like she would hear footsteps, the lights would keep dimming and everything, and then she would talk to her husband about it, like, oh, I'm getting really worried, I saw this, and the husband would say, no, there was nothing like that at all. Apparently what had happened was, it was actually the one behind it, but he wanted to take the house and all the other properties she inherited away from her. So the plan was to gaslight her so much, drive her completely nuts, and then he started to tell people that, oh, she was sick. Do you understand? He was telling people like she was cuckoo and whatnot. That so he locked her up in the house. So the next thing he was going to do was actually, and the funny thing was, he actually got away with it. And this is what happened these days. Like, a lot of people get away with this stuff. Do you understand? That's how you see a lot of young ladies is they don't even know who they are. I mean, even some older women sometimes, and most of the time you can't blame them, because they've actually probably been in some friendship or relationship or something that's toned down their self-esteem and their self-worth and their happiness down so much that they become so uncertain about their own lives. Anyway, I talk too much, so let's get to it very quickly. So like I've explained what gaslighting is. It's when somebody in basic English, so when somebody lies so much, you actually start to question what you saw or what you heard or any of those things. Anyway, so there are two types of gaslighting. There's the unintentional gaslighting. A good example would be like a little kid, like maybe a 3-year-old boy or girl or whatever, scrapes his knee, and he's going on and on and on and on about it, like, oh mommy, or whatever it is, like, it hurts, and the mother is like, obviously not meaning any harm, she's like, no, it doesn't hurt that bad, I'm sure, look, I'll just blow it, which is very unintentional, because what you're trying to do is actually convince the boy that whatever it is he's feeling is not authentic. Like, whatever it is, imagining things in his head. Like, if he says it's hurting him, what you're trying to say to him is like, it's just your imagination, but it's done unintentionally. However, it's still gaslighting, because there are other ways, I'm sure, that kind of situation can be handled. So anyway, so yes, that's the unintentional gaslighting. So there's the malicious gaslighting. This is when someone intentionally lies to you to make you question your own reality. And with gaslighting, there are 3 different phases of gaslighting. The first one is disbelief. So this is what happens, like, when somebody's just lying to you so much and everything, and literally, because you can't even catch them in a lie, so you're trying to then you start to question, like, you question, like, okay, they're lying to you so much, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, this person is actually not like that. This person, I'm sure they were just angry, I'm sure they were just upset, I'm sure they didn't mean it like that. So that's still the disbelief stage. Then you start to get to you start to get to the defensive stage. This is when you're kind of losing grip already. Like, you're beginning to believe what the abuser is telling you that it's true. I don't know if my English is correct. You're beginning to accept whatever is the abuser is presenting to you as reality. So it doesn't matter what you saw, it doesn't matter what you heard, it doesn't matter what you saw, whatever it is. They're telling you that this is what it is, and they want you to accept their reality. So that's the second stage. You know, at that point is when you start to say, it looks like I'm getting quite forgetful. You know, I keep forgetting when they gaslight you and tell you that whatever it is you saw was not true, or you didn't see it. So you start to think, man, these days I'm getting quite forgetful. At that point, you know naturally you're not the forgetful kind of person. But at that point, you've been gaslighted so much that you start to think, maybe I'm just being forgetful or something. Maybe I forgot or something, you know, trying to make excuses. Then the last stage is the depression stage. The last stage is the depression stage, and at this point, the victim has become quite uncertain about who they are. They become insecure. They become quite uncertain about themselves because the abuser has told them over and over time that they are worthless. Not in so many ways, but you know, when somebody emotionally abuses you, after a while you start to feel like, okay, maybe I'm just not worth love, or maybe I'm just not, you know, maybe I'm just this, maybe I'm just that. I'm just saying. So before it gets to the depression stage, you know, anyway, so it eventually gets to the depression stage, and which is the whole point of abuse in the first place. So let's get to the key phrases. So how do you identify when you are being gaslighted? Okay, so there are some key phrases, and our advice, like, if you do notice like anybody's gaslighting you, my advice to you is just to walk away. Seriously, just not walk away, like break off the friendship or relationship, because sometimes it could be your family, it could be your neighbor, it could be anybody, and you're just going to keep walking away, you know. So but at that point, when you realize that you're being gaslighted, you need to just walk away from that conversation and just tell the person, we'll have this conversation again next time, I can't do this right now. So anyway, so let them think about another lie. And most of the time what would happen is you would find inconsistencies, you know, in the first story they were trying to tell you and the second story, and that's how you probably know they were lying, even if you're not sure. So okay, what are the key phrases? The first one is you're too sensitive, everything bothers you, you make the big deal out of everything. And you know, as subtle, now please keep in mind, other people use these phrases. I'm saying if you can identify about 5 or 6 that somebody does to you over time, and you know for a while you keep questioning, like, what's wrong with this person? Do you understand? And it's over time, it's something you can spot over time, then you know that you're being gaslighted, and that's actually a very dangerous situation to be in. Anyway, so yeah, so what they do is, the reason why they keep saying, oh, you make a big deal out of everything. Okay, so a situation has happened and they're like, what's the big deal, what's the big deal? The problem is that it actually is a big deal, but they need to keep saying that to you to make the victim back down. So normally when they're saying that to you, it's actually a huge deal, because if you actually investigate and get to the bottom of the story, you would realize that they've actually done something quite grave, but they intentionally keep saying that to you so that in case they do something else next time, you're trying not to react so much, because you don't want to be that sensitive person, like always sensitive, always triggered by one thing or the other. So most of the time when an abuser says to you that, oh, you're too sensitive, it's not even a big deal, why are you making a big deal out of everything? Usually if you get to the bottom of it, which you never will, because they will take the lie to their grave, usually it's actually a huge deal. So something to look out for. Okay, so another key phrase an abuser would use, I never said that. But if you pay attention, it's selective. Normally they remember everything else, but when it gets to that one thing they want to deny to you at that time, then they'll say to you, I never said that. And you're like, yes you did, I remember you actually said that to me, so day, or whatever it is. You say, no, I never said that. In fact, you probably remembered wrongly what I was trying to say to you that day. And eventually you back down because it seems quite innocent, right? So you're like, okay, maybe I forgot. Over time, that can actually be a problem. You know, it's very selective amnesia. You know, it's just selective memory loss. Anyway, so the third one is I'm not angry. keep in mind, like I said, other people use these phrases, but I'm talking about spotting 3 or 4 in one person. No, not even 3 or 4. If you can spot about 4 or 5 in one person over time, then you know they're definitely gaslighting you. So I'm not angry, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the silent treatment, right? Because this person, you can literally see smoke coming out of their ears. Sometimes they're not actually giving you silent treatment, they're talking to you. It's just they're very cold and distant. So something, they would normally laugh with you. You guys would normally laugh together. What would happen is they're giving you like one-liners, like, okay, yes, did you do that? Mm-mm. Do you want that? No, thanks. I'm okay. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. And what that does is it keeps you off balance, because you're trying to make up for something you don't even know about. So every minute you're wondering, okay, have I done something wrong again? What happened? Did I say something? The healthy thing will be for the person to discuss it, right? But they hold it over your head in silence. So you're working over time to try to find out exactly what is wrong with this person, exactly what it is you have done wrong, so that you can make amends, so that the energy can just be right, things can go back to the normal way. Another key phrase you hear in gaslighting is, you made me do it. Okay, so how does this work? Okay, so imagine your partner was you caught your partner in a lie, for instance, and you're saying to them, okay, she just told me the truth, what's the big deal? She just told me. They'll say to you, it's sorry, I'm sorry, you're very emotional, I didn't want you to overreact, you can be very sensitive, and I didn't want to tell you because you can be so sensitive. So basically what they're saying is like, it's your fault that they had to lie to you, pretty much. That's another major gaslighting phrase. Another key gaslighting phrase you hear is, you need help. So maybe something had happened and there's an argument or something, and then you see the person sit down and go, you know what, you need help, seriously, you actually need help. But I don't blame you. I mean, I really understand where you're coming from. I mean, you had a very tough childhood, or your parents were not there for you, or they would keep saying things to make you feel okay. After a while, you start to question and think, okay, maybe there's actually something wrong with me. Maybe I should get myself. You start to work on imaginary things and think you're actually the problem, when really and truly they are the problem. They're just making you believe there's something wrong with you. So another key gaslighting phrase you will hear, and that you need help, sometimes it comes with things like what's it called, you're lucky I put up with you. I don't know how anybody else can be in a relationship with you with your attitude. I'm the only one that can put up with you. I'm the only one. Already what they're doing is breaking down your psyche to make you believe that you can't actually live outside of them. So something to look out for. Another key gaslighting phrase is, that's why no one likes you, or that's why no one wants to be around you. And this is actually very effective. Reason being, first of all, an emotional abuser, already you already feel like this person has like maybe a wrong impression of you, or they just don't understand you, or they look at you in some sort of, because they're constantly putting you down very subtly. So obviously you know that this person does not have much respect. So when they say to you, this is why no one wants to be around you, or no one likes you, what you're thinking is how this is so effective, because it pulls in other people as well. So it's not just about the abuser anymore. Now you're actually thinking, so this is how everybody sees me. And the worst part is, so people actually see me the way this person sees me, when I actually thought, so already that really messes with your psyche, and over time it's a major problem. And a lot of people suffer from these things, and they don't even know why they're acting in certain ways, or why they're so angry all the time, or what causes their depression or something, without actually realizing that it's pretty much of the time it's gaslighting. Another key gaslighting phrase you hear is, you're so childish, you're so petty. Now usually they do this like I've always said in like I've said in my other videos, they will, an emotional abuser will intentionally poke you, say stuff, and you're so childish, oh my god, you're so petty. They will intentionally do something probably you've complained about so many times, and when they do it again and you actually blow up, you can literally, and their faces, like, they're very innocent about it, like, oh my god, you're so childish, oh my god, you're so petty. And you see, they have to do that. They have to keep telling you you're childish and you're petty, so that when next they do something, you're trying to avoid being that childish and petty person. So most likely you will be silent. Most likely. And you know, that's a major form of abuse, because like I said in one of my videos, when you're slow to, you become quite slow to give your opinion, you become quite slow to talk, and when you don't give your opinion, people give you one. That's what happens. So it's something to look out for. You know, and another form, key gaslighting phrase you hear is, you can't take a joke. I always talk about this one, but let me put it in a very different form. So somebody would say something about you, maybe like a private thing that you've told them, or yeah, like a private thing or a private information or something, you know, or an embarrassing situation that would have normally should be between the both of you. They'll probably say it in public and laugh about it and say it and embarrass you in front of everybody, and then when you're thinking, oh my god, what have you just done, why would you do that, they're thinking, oh come on, you can't take a drink, it's not even a big deal. Yes, it's a big deal, but they have to do stuff like that. They have to do, because they have to start making you react in front of people, and so that it makes it easier when they got you to that point of pretty much lack of self-worth, a lack of happiness, you know. So it's easier for them to say, oh, I think he or she is like maybe cuckoo or something. Do you understand? And you know, they start to tell people that, well, if I'm going by the original term, which was from the movie, that was what happened eventually. So another key gaslighting phrase is you're insecure, you're jealous. I mean, literally, I actually had someone say this to me once, like, you're insecure, you're jealous. And what had happened, like, we went out and, well, as usual, you know, everybody sitting down, laughing around, and you pull, I mean, this guy had pulled a girl and he was flirting up a storm. Like, it became quite embarrassing to actually sit there, because it was almost like you came with that person, but the person is like flirting with another woman and dancing and flirting, and it was really bad, you know. It was really, really bad. And when it came back to sit down, I was like, that's so weird, that was so embarrassing. Like, you came with someone, right? I was like, why are you so insecure, why are you so jealous? I'm thinking, okay, jealous and insecure would be like maybe opposite of what I would ever want to call myself. So at that point I was like, literally, I actually believed him. Not that I was jealous, I knew I wasn't jealous, but like insecure. I'm thinking, really, have I become that person? I've become an insecure person, like jealous of another woman. And you know, he had said this over and over and over again. So it got to a point when no matter how badly he behaved, I would just like, so that they don't call me the jealous and insecure person, I'll just overlook it. But you know, for someone like me, I can never really keep my mouth shut. So I'm like, after a while, I'm like, you know what, I don't care what happens, blah, 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 and I'm talking away. So anyway, so it's another key gaslighting phrase, and it's something to look out for. You know, somebody will literally say to your face, you're jealous and you're insecure, you know, just so that you don't get into their business again. That way, you don't want to be that jealous girlfriend or the jealous boyfriend or the insecure girlfriend. You have every right. See, if people keep telling you that your feelings are not valid, there's a reason why you feel a certain way, except you can actually identify yourself as being extra sensitive. But if somebody says something and you feel a certain way, it's your feelings, it's valid. You have every right to feel a certain way or to feel triggered by something somebody else says. Now, sometimes you don't even know why you feel triggered by it, but it triggers you. So what somebody that is close to you or someone in your circle should do is actually, first of all, acknowledge it and respect it before trying to explain themselves that, okay, maybe I didn't mean it that way. Do you understand? But whatever it is, it triggered you, and that's valid. And you see, a lot of people try to just sweep their feelings under the carpet, and it's wrong, you know. Anyway, something to look out for. I talk too much. Okay, so the last key phrase I would give is, if you really love me. Now, this is probably someone you love with everything. You can literally, you know, do anything, jump mountains, cut your head off, do whatever it is for them. But because they've realized that you actually love them like that, when they want you to do something, they'll say, if you really love me, you will do, you know, if you really love me, you will do it. Which means, if you prove your love to me, like, if you really love me, you'll do that thing I want you to do. And most of the time, if somebody has to enforce it, most of the time it's probably not a very good option. It's probably a morally corrupt option, which is why you would even be skeptical in the first place to do whatever it is. But they try to manipulate you and tell you that, well, if you don't do it, it means you don't love me enough, that's why you can't do it, and you feel uncomfortable doing that. They don't even respect that. They just want things their way. It's a form of control and manipulation. Anyway, so I'm going to end here today. Thank you so much, and please, if you do have anybody gaslighting you in your life, or you can spot this, some of these phrases in somebody's conversations with you over time, I think you need to be very aware of it. It's called gaslighting, and it's a form of emotional abuse. So do have a lovely week, stay blessed, have a good time. Namaste.